Namaste. We are with Gautam ji for our next episode of Living the Teachings with Baba. Gautam, thank you so much for your time as always.
My pleasure, Nick.
Gautam, today I wanted to talk to you about something which is quite important actually. It's about have devotees already made up their minds about something? And this is particularly in regard to, say, for example, devotees who have questions and say they lay chits or they are in a situation in life where they feel they want Baba's guidance and they want to act according to how Baba wills it. Now, in that circumstance, there's that saying like, let life flow and let events take their own course without offering resistance.
Right.
And one thing I've observed, even going back to my own past, a tendency where the mind has already taken a position, it's made up its mind about a preference and wants to steer life in that direction.
Right.
And then you sort of lose track of, what really life is offering you. Maybe there's something you don't know, something for your greater good that Baba offers you.
Right.
But you need to be patient. So I felt if we could talk about that aspect today, Gautam.
Sure. Perhaps we have covered this before, but I think it warrants delving a bit deeper into this subject. I will give you an example, a real life example, Nick. I might have given it before on the podcast, I'm not sure. This is about a close friend of mine who is a devotee of Sai Baba. And you see, he was wanting to take his son to the UK for studies. And the plan was set in his mind. But whenever he put chits down, which, like you said, many Baba devotees do to get clear answers, the answer was a no. So he was baffled because all other things were pointing in that direction. His friends in the UK worked out the schools to visit and the admission procedures, and then the lawyers gave him the options if they had to relocate to the UK. So everything was on track beautifully, you see. So of course he thought this is all, Baba's doing, everything is flourishing and working according to what I had in mind. But when the chits were put down, the answer was a no. So this he could not get a grip on, that how can Baba say no, it doesn't make sense because this is the right thing, this is the right time, and so on. And as we know, he was supposed to go 1 week before the lockdown, and he could not go. And now he sees why the chits were saying no, because it would have been futile to go when the entire world is in lockdown. You see, 4 months of lockdown have happened. So this illustrates your point quite perfectly, where we not only make up our minds, but we feel that Baba can have no problem with this position of ours because, everyone is benefiting and it's the right thing to do. And then we get confused when we get intuitive answers which are contrary to what we want to hear. And then we start doubting and questioning. You see, this is what happens when the mind is fixed. Now, if the chits were saying no and one had full faith that I will go by the chits because they have always guided me in the past, let's say, then the argument would end there. The questioning would not have happened, you see.
Yes.
Now, of course, by God's grace, he has seen the value of the answers in the chits. See, I give this example often in my talks. Imagine it's night time and you are given the keys to a museum. You enter the museum and you have a small torch, or maybe the torch of your mobile phone, and you shine it on a painting on the wall. Okay, now the torch will light up only a thin part of the painting. But as you keep walking along and along the corridor, you notice that this painting is going on and on. It's a 100-foot painting actually. But you are only able to see a thin slice of it at a given point in time. So this painting is a metaphor for our life. Our life is vast, like a vast canvas. We only see a part of it and then make all judgments on that part, not knowing what the rest of the picture is that is painted. You see, so our vision is limited only to the extent the light has fallen on that painting. And on 100-foot painting, that light will fall only in a very tiny part of it, which we try and make sense of. On that tiny part, we base all our conclusions and judgments. That is what happens. Now, if someone accepted, there is a bigger picture. There is something beyond what my mind and intellect can see and understand. That bigger picture is what is surrendered to the divine, that is surrendered to Baba. This is what we don't do. We just stay limited to what our eyes can see and what our mind can think, and that's it.
So, Gautam, I've felt this, that if a devotee begins to just reflect on this, look back in their life and see how they have probably in the past, like in my own case, you start looking back and you begin to see, okay, in the past there was probably a higher degree where you had already made up your mind, maybe a relationship or anything it could be.
Yes.
And that has not worked out, and maybe for your better.
Right.
Now, with that understanding as it seeps in, then in your current day situation, you could probably ask yourself, what are the things today that I have already either made up my mind, or I have certain preferences where I have expectations that I want it to be like that, where I'm conditionally happy.
Right.
And if those things from this light are seen, then Gautam, do you feel that would, like you are then surrendering those things to Baba as well slowly?
Yes, absolutely. That would be the true surrender. The true surrender is the surrender of the mind. The thinking mind of the ego is offered to Baba, you see. That look, I know my thinking mind and its limitations. Therefore, I offer it to you at your feet because you know best. And you see, the main thing here is when we have something in mind and it doesn't turn out the way we wanted it, we feel disappointed, no doubt. But therein lies the learning. You see, we all learn through suffering. When we don't get what we want, we are suffering. So there's a reason for the suffering. Because we have all come here, we have incarnated on this plane of existence to learn life's lessons. You see? So when someone who has seen enough setbacks in life realizes that, look, no matter how much I make up my mind, how much I think things will go a certain way, that does not happen. That is my own life's experience. The more one reflects on this, the more and more the surrender will happen.
Yes.
You see, it reminds me of Jiddu Krishnamurthy, the great Indian philosopher, who said in one sentence, he said, do you all want to know my secret? My secret is that I don't mind what happens. I don't mind what happens. So no story is made out of it with the mind. No judgments are given to situations. So what he is trying to point at is my thinking mind does not get embroiled in what happens in life.
You know, Gautam, this is such an important point, and I can already visualize maybe in some devotees this, who are probably not gone down this path of reflection so deeply, that tendency may still be very active that no, I want to do it and I want to try. In that case, Gautam, I was just thinking of one thing. Suppose you have a preference, like, for example, there is one thing saying, I want this for certain, and there's one thing like a small wish you may have where you might just present it to Baba saying, Baba, I would like having this certain experience. It would be great if you wish it, you could give it to me. If not, I'm absolutely fine. Then that puts you in a space, firstly, you're requesting your master with a lot of humility and reverence without putting a demand on him. And Baba represents consciousness.
Right.
And two is you are yourself in a place where you are in total acceptance that it may or may not happen. That will not affect your happiness or make you happy or unhappy. It might be your preference. Like, I'll take an example in my own life. 5 or 6 years ago, before we moved to our new home, there was no concept of Airbnb. It was a very quiet neighborhood. Then all of a sudden, like, Airbnb came and things changed. So occasionally, when we have a little bit of halagola that comes up, I go and just joke with Baba. I say, hey Baba, you know what? I have a slight preference of silence. Whenever you wish it, I'm happy to go wherever you want.
Yes.
Now, that keeps me in a free space, and it doesn't put me in a thing where I've asked Baba, oh, this is a problem. I have judged the situation, that it should be different. How can you keep me here? Just the stories the mind gets into. So, if you could cite a few examples or give, some more insights there, like, it's perfectly fine to have a preference, but at least this cuts out all that mental agony that one could normally get embroiled with.
Yes, but Nick, you see, what you have said is the ideal scenario which you are practicing. For many people, the wishes they make are actually more need based. It's a need, it is not a wish. You see, to make a wish and not be attached to the outcome, although there is a preference, that is not what normally people are striving for, because for them the wish they make is based on a need. You see, this is why the mother of Pondicherry kept saying that most of your prayers to God are all need based on the needs of the me and mine, my life story. That is not the true prayer, you see. So if the wish was made, then as you said, if it is made knowing that whether or not the wish is fulfilled is God's will, if one knows that, then the wish carries with it a lightness. And you see, the saying goes, be careful what you wish for you might just get it. You see. You may wish for a relationship, you fall in love with this girl, and then after you all are together, then hell breaks open and you wonder what you got into. You see, that is what is meant by this saying. So be careful what you wish for. Why? Because you think you know what is best for you. God knows what is best for you. Your view is limited. Your view is limited to that torchlight on that large painting. So please be careful what you wish for.
Yes, the best wish is no wish.
Exactly. The best wish is to accept, or rather, let's put it this way. The best wish is to wish to God that He gives us a frame of mind where we are completely surrendered to Him. That is the best wish. Now, I am reminded of another example of the rigid mind, you see. Now, the rigid mind works on past conditioning, set patterns, set thought processes which are hardwired into us, which make us rigid. In the medieval times, the armies, when they were in battle, they all had specific formations. The Romans had a particular formation for the cavalry, for the archers, for the infantry, you see, and they would be trained in those formations. Now, those formations were planned, they were rigid, okay. Now, the generals of the army knew that the problem with this is the mind is conditioned. So, supposing in this whole approach to the war, something happens which is unplanned, maybe the enemy does something or something just happens in their own ranks which is unforeseen, they would be thrown off guard because they are now set, the soldiers are set, this is the way we have to fight with our swords, this is the way we have to do archery. So they had this concept of clown soldiers. What they did was, without telling the army, they would assign 20-30 soldiers to do the most ridiculous thing on the battlefield. So when the army was in formation, suddenly these band of 20 soldiers would ride front side back or start doing funny things. You see, so what were they doing was very important. They were breaking the conditioned mind of the soldiers, because suddenly the soldiers saw, my God, what's happening? And these were their own soldiers, luckily. So that rigidity got broken. They became more present because they saw the clown soldiers doing something which they were not prepared to see. No one told them. That brought their attention to the present moment and broke the hardwired conditioning. Why I'm saying this is because this is what happens, you see. If we are very rigid, we can lose sight of the enemy because we are stuck in our rigidity. So some surprise may happen and we'll be caught off guard because we've been trained in a certain way. But when that rigidity is broken, and broken internally, with accepting that, look, something may happen which I'm not comfortable with, which if I do not accept as the will of the universe, of the source, of God, it's going to be bad for me, not for anyone else. So this is a very important point. Break the rigidity. Break it before it breaks you. You see? And that is where the grace of the Guru comes in. That is where surrender comes in. So, to repeat myself, surrender this rigidity of the thinking mind to the feet of the Guru.
The story you just shared, Gautam, was very beautiful. It reminds me of something the great Master Gurjeev would do. He would get his disciples to dig a big thing in the ground the whole day, dig, and then he would tell them, now go fill that pit up again. And they would be very confused, you spend your whole day digging, and then he would say, fill it up, just to break their conditioning.
Yes.
And in different ways, different masters do the same thing essentially. They empty you.
You see, I'll tell you something very funny on this front. Meher Baba, the great master Meher Baba, he was traveling by train. Okay, now his window was down. Lot of breeze was coming in. So one disciple said, Baba, this breeze is too strong and it's affecting you, so we'll put the window up. So Baba said, yes, you are absolutely right. So he put the window up and that disciple went away. Then another disciple came and said, Baba, you're getting no air, so I'll put the window down. So Baba said, yes, so he put the window down. So the first disciple then came and saw this and fired the second disciple. You're not following Baba's command. And he said, I am following Baba's command. So they got so confused, you see, and the Guru was having a hearty laugh. This is what he was doing. You see, he knew. And each of the disciples thought they were doing something big by taking care of their master. But what Baba was doing is breaking their rigidity. You see? Because everything a master does has a reason.
Yes.
So this reminded me of when you shared the digging of the pit experience, That is how it works. We have these fixed things that, the master wants the window up, I'm protecting him. That is all our mind. Did we ask the master? Did the first disciple ask first to Meher Baba that, would you like the window up? No. The breeze is blowing, it must be disturbing you, I'm putting the window up. Amazing.
Wonderful. So Gautam, thank you. This is a very insightful talk, and many devotees ask for personal experiences of yours or, some examples. So I felt in the upcoming podcast, if we could share little examples like this, just so these important concepts, because I feel even if a devotee starts pondering on these concepts and pointers,
yes,
at some level in time, it will become the filter through which, their life experience goes through.
Sure, and Nick, if we may, and if people like this episode, then I would like to do a follow-up on a concept of my teachers which helped me tremendously, which was the mind was split into the working mind and the thinking mind. And that actually is a very beneficial concept. So we can explore that in another podcast if you feel it is suitable. Yeah?
Absolutely. No, most certainly. And talking of podcasts, Gautam, there's just a small announcement I'd like to make. We have launched new podcasts for all our speakers. So, people following Living the Teachings, they have us on Spotify, and we have our own podcast channel.
Right.
And we've set up one for Hemama, we've set up one for Vinima on the history and Leelas of Baba. So there's more information on our website, mysaibaba.com, and go to the podcast page. So all the links to Spotify, Apple, and all the other platforms are there for each of these channels. So I felt that'll make it easily accessible. Even the Sai Satcharit, the new edition,
Yes.
now has your commentaries and Vinima's commentaries all on Spotify. So it's a lot easier for devotees to access specific content, because Gautam, since lockdown, we have so much more content
I know.
that I felt it'll just make it a bit easier.
So I think what I have understood is, let's say if someone wants to just watch Hemama's videos, then they find a playlist or something where only Hemama's videos are there.
Yes, so basically, if they go to the website, that's also restructured. So they can just click on Hemama's photo, and there we have all her videos listed there. And right below is her podcast. So they have links to subscribe on Spotify, Apple Podcast, and the other ones.
Oh, great. So then they don't have to sift through my boring podcast to reach Hemama's podcast.
Yeah, it's just more accessible. So if someone wants to hear Master G or I or their favorite speaker, just click on their picture.
Beautiful.
And you have everything about them.
Great.
And also, if devotees can come there and leave their email, because we heard recently a couple of YouTube channels just disappeared overnight. So that actually got me thinking, and I said we must have an archive of all this wonderful content on our channel.
Right.
So that archival process has got complete, and this is off YouTube, so no ads, no distractions, no comments. So, devotees who take the content seriously and contemplate on it, the new website's sort of put in place where they can come spend time. There's also a desktop app now. So come have a look, just spend some time, leave your email. We are beginning to send out newsletters every Thursday. So they'll have all the updates to the new videos and new podcasts with the links there.
So when you say leave your email, there's a mailing list form or something there to put the email ID in?
Yes. So at the bottom of the page, all pages on the site, there's a little box where you can leave your email. And once you do that, every week we'll be sending an email out on Thursday with everything new that week. So the new videos, the new podcasts, anything else happening, they'll just get one email with everything in that, like a little feed.
Wonderful. And the website, can you tell me again what it is?
It is mysaibaba.com.
mysaibaba.com. Okay.
Thank you, Gautam. Thank you so much.
Okay, Nick. All the best.
Thank you. Take care.
My pleasure. Bye. Bye.
Bye.